Hello there guys, this is Libby, otherwise known as Silverlief, and today we're back finishing up some pieces to go with this pocket we did yesterday. I'm actually using trash again. This is the front of I think it was a notepad. When I took it apart for the paper, this is part of what was left. So it's not super thin, but it's not super thick either. It's a nice weight. I think it'll work nicely in here. I've done a little bit of measuring for how wide I need the cards to be. So for this, I'm doing 2.25 inches wide, and then height wise, I'm going to go with like a 3 and a 5, like maybe a little bit less than a 3 and maybe a little bit more than a 5. For those, and then the background is going to be, I can comfortably do a 4. I'm going to do 3.75 inch, so 3 3/4, just because that allows me to use this fully by, I think, 7. How tall is this? It can go up to here. I will lose a little bit of the height for this last bit. Maybe. We'll see. You know what? We'll see. I might like the way that that's going to stick out when I'm done. But for now, I'm just going to quickly mark my 2 1/4 inch top and bottom, and then from there, because this is 6 wide, and I can do 1/2 with this and then 2 with the other half. So we'll do 2 1/4 is about there. And 2 1/4 is about there. Hopefully this is straight. So this side here, is that straight? Hard to tell. This side here we're going to portion into 2 parts for this. So one's going to be a smaller part and one's going to be a taller part. And then this side here will end up being what goes in the very back. Yes, my love. Thank you. So I'm going to use my paper trimmer just to make sure it is even, but that's roughly where I want it. So I'm just going to be right back, and I'll get this trimmed up. Okay, so I have it ended up a tiny bit smaller, but whatever. I just need to make sure that it definitely fits in here, which it does. Okay, and then I don't want this all the way to the bottom because I'm going to need space to glue. So I'm thinking if we do it from about here. And I'm just going to mark off how high up I want it to come, and I'm going to say about there. Maybe a tiny bit higher, because then I can make it into a type shape. So I'm just going to trim this real fast. So is that going to work? That'll be the first one. And then this will be the second one. And the second one you can see through the first one. So this is going to be a tiny guy. And I'm going to cut this side so I can get rid of that. That's the other guy. And then realistically, we don't really have to cut much off this if we don't want to. If it's coming down to the bottom, I might trim a little bit. But I already checked the size of this against the journal that it's going in, and it's fine. So we can do whatever with that. And that way, there's nothing lost. We're not wasting any paper. I love how tiny this guy is. I'll make it bigger with I'll either add a tab on top, or I'll do something similar to this and just add some string on top. Do I want to cut it now or after? I think after. So I'm keeping this side white, because when I'm done with it, I'm going to use this, I'm going to distress it up a bit. I'm going to use this side as like for writing. So I'm going to decorate this side. And like I did with this, because this is glossy, if you can see, I'm just going to quickly rough it up with my rough grip sandpaper. And it'll just make sure that if I end up using a weaker glue, it'll at least still stick. You don't have to go over the entire thing, just enough that there's grip. So I'm just going to do that with this last one because I hate the sound of it, and somebody on there might hate it too, and then I'll be right back. Okay. So I also took a cloth to it once I was done, just to get some of the extra dust off. I have an air purifier, so when I'm not live, this isn't live, when I'm not recording, that's the one, I'll make sure to run it, just to help the air clear. Okay, so here's our bases. I obviously want to collage again. I don't know when this turned into a collaging channel, but evidently it did. I never used to be a collager until I started doing some of like my little cards. I do like little note cards. And ever since I started doing those, I don't know, there's no stopping me. Anyway, so I have random bits of maps still. I'm just trying to use up every shred of these random scraps that I have lying around at this point. Maybe use a bit more of this. I don't want anything that's going to add too much bulk, so this ticket's pretty thick. I'm worried that it'll get caught on the holes, so I might not use that, but it's here. I have the offcuts of, it's called Fragments. I'll try to remember to link it too, from Seven Plaza. I have my offcuts of that, but we need something in the background. So I have some ledger again. I have this newspaper clipping. So I might use the newspaper clipping for one of these smaller ones because it's not as tall. Oh, the ledger's not tall either. Yeah, so I think I'll use the newspaper clipping for this medium one. I'll use the ledger for the smaller one, and then for this, I might have some more map lying around. So I'm just going to go check for that. I'm looking for scraps right now. I'm not looking for brand new sheets of anything. Just things that I've already pulled out and started to tear into, I suppose. So I'll be 1 second. Okay, so I have my 3 different pieces. This technically wasn't a brand new piece. It was a full page from my giant atlas, but it was a page that had fallen out when I removed another page, so I figured it was free game. I cut it down just a little bit to keep it in frame. We need to remember, glue it on this side, not this side, because the back of this is just the title page, so you know. Yeah, so we have you, we have you, we have you. And then I'll worry about decorating. But this is just the base, and I'm not turning anything over this time. Ordinarily I would, but this is already kind of thick. And if we're putting this down on a page, like holding it on a page, so it stays down, you don't want anything too thick or it's not going to be able to get under. So I'll probably also, I'll do the tabs on the top and around the bottom, because that again will help with letting it get in without getting caught. But I'll show you that when we get to it. So for right now, I'm going to quickly go through and I'm just going to glue these on. Figure out roughly where I want it. I might do the numbers this time because I did the fancy words last time. So I think I'm going to like do this one here. You know, it's already getting grungy. Look at that. You know, it doesn't matter as much because we're going to build up on top. I just don't want to build up too much. Yeah. So you're for you, and you're for you. I'm going to try my glue stick and then my art glitter glue on top because the wet glue really warped what I was doing yesterday. Alright, so this needs to be... One second. I'm just going to fold the top edge here so I can see where that map, like the land part of that map is. So I want it roughly more this side, and I'm going to mark it as this side. Let's have a look. So I want it between, you can't see what I'm doing. The bit that I folded over, I'm going to mark it on that part that I want to glue it between here and here. Since I can't see, that way I know, oh, well, I want it glued here. Okay. And again, we want this side down, not this side. That's going to have to be covered with something. Maybe washi tape. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just trim it down before I'm done. Did I grab a glue page? Did I heck? I'm too... What's the word? I'm in too much of a rush, I suppose, is what I want to say. Will you work as a glue page? You'll work as a glue page. Okay, so you're the tall one, which means you get to go... Where do I want you? There-ish. Sure, there-ish. I just want to get most of South America on the map. I mean, on the board. I think enough of it's on there. Yeah, this is getting grungier than I wanted it to. Like it's from the cover, but I can work with that. And I tend to use washi and stickers and stuff, so I can like put a strip of washi down here. I can sticker it up. Oh yeah, I was like, wait, no, I'm not even decorating this side. No, because we're going to write on this side. So it's going to get grunged up anyway, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm just going to set that aside. Next, it doesn't matter for this one which side I do it on, but it's going to have to go over here. And I'm going to try and keep it within the text block, because the other side is likely also text. Yep. Did I use art glitter glue on that? No, I did not, like I was supposed to. Is there time to? I'm going to add just a little bit to the edges. Because I know the art glitter glue will hold over time. Whereas, well, my glue stick's less likely. I mean, it does say it's a permanent glue stick, but ask me how much I trust that. I'm just putting some in the corners, because it is actually kind of stuck down now. That's fine. Don't make the mistake the second go around, Lib. So I want it over here. So how was everyone's day? I genuinely did not think I would be making a video today. My brain had a big fibro fog moment at work, and I shut down and couldn't speak for a while. And I got home and I was very drained because of it. But I'm okay now. It was very embarrassing in the moment. Yeah. But I'm okay now. I just got to learn to be okay with that. What I've actually got to do is figure out a nice sign to let my co-workers know, hey, I'm struggling right now. I pushed myself a little too hard. I should have taken a break sooner than I did. It happens. It's not fun, but it happens. Okay. That's 2. I'm just going to tear this off. I don't want to waste this newspaper. I don't have very much at all. So I'm just going to set that aside. And then this guy. But yeah, I'm glad that I sort of made myself get up. I was going to take a big nap. I was like, no, because if you take a nap now, then you're not going to want to do anything later because you're going to wake up groggy. So this way, at least, if I start on my project and get this done, if I nap after and I sleep too long, oh well. I want the numbers. So I want this side. Oh. Yeah, I'm glad that I made myself get up and do it. So, you know, okay. We need a new glue stick. Oh, I have a new glue stick right here waiting. Alright, so I'm going to cycle back to the first one. And what I'm going to just quickly do is just cut this out. I said I'm not folding anything. I don't want this getting thicker than it needs to be. So I'll be right back and I'm just going to go through and cut these down. Okay, so here's our bases. And I trimmed off the bit that had the mark on of this one. This guy I'm not going to make into a tab, which means I'm going to have to cover this up a little bit. I'm going to put a tab on top, which you're not my tabs, you are. I'm not sure if any of these will work. These are the only ones I have right now, pre-cut, so. I quite like that star one, actually. That could work. I don't mind the moths, but wrong colour. Maybe this moth one, that could work. I might do this orange here and we can stamp on it. This one is going to be a tag. These two are going to have tabs. I've just decided. Some music. No, I think I like that star. Oh. Okay, it's between those. It's between those. And I'm not going to put the tab on until the end. So, I have 4 options for 2 cards. I do still really like that one though. It's got like the celestial stuff on. It's butterflies, butterflies, orange. Okay. So I'm just going to put those to the side. And then focus on the bases. Let's say this one's going to end up being a tag. But I want to decorate it first and then tag it up. So I'm just going to grab a couple of little bits and pieces. Like I have these from the map. I don't know if it's from the same page as the map, but I might cut these out or use I have a square punch, use a square punch on them just to add them on here as a bit of interest. I also just got, it's actually bigger than I thought it would be. This is the problem with getting things online. Some jacquard. It's meant for wrapping flowers, but I might take a couple of pieces of this off. I'm really enjoying playing with textures at the moment. Or else I'll just grab some of my bookbinding web. But I'll just be a second. I'm going to grab a couple of things out and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I grabbed a couple of things. I fussy cut out a little bird. I'm not sure what I want the focal point on this big piece to be. I'm considering this, but I'm worried that it's a thicker piece of chipboard. So I'm not sure. But I have some circles that I cut out. Some old paper. Another one of these coupons. Some little guys. And then my stamps. So I definitely know I want this bird on this guy. So I'm going to start with the middle one. I have some brown packaging paper. Like craft paper. I'm going to take a little bit of this off. something like that. I want the birdie on there. I might, no, I don't want the circle on that one. I need something that's a different colour. I might grab some more of this map if I can find it. I've got a little tiny piece of it here, but that is not enough. A little piece of the other map, just for a little bit of colour. I'm going to go for it a bit at the top. I'm just tearing. I could be trying to make this perfect. I'm not going to try and make it perfect. How's that? Okay, so I think we'll put this here. A little bit of brown on top. Birdie on top of that. And then... oh, do I not have any of it left? I was looking for the rest of the stuff I used yesterday, but it doesn't look like I have it, so I'll take a bit of that jacquard that I just got. It's a bigger knit. Bigger mesh, I suppose, so I don't need a lot. But I do want a bit with that spider webbing on. And I just flicked everything everywhere. Well done, Lib. Okay. Or do I want that underneath? Just as like a small peak. Just gonna make it a tiny bit smaller again. So definitely want that there. You can go there. Birdie can go up on top. I'm just gonna have this netting at the very bottom underneath everything else, so it's sticking out. And has plenty to attach to. So I'm thinking something like this, and then maybe I'll add a postage stamp and maybe a sentiment on it. I have the Tim Holtz ones. So with this sort of thing, you want to target the areas with the biggest space. Mostly. Hello, can you get off? It got stuck. And then depending on how careful you are, you can run little lines on the rest of the meshing. If you have a glue that dries clear and isn't too glossy when it's dry, you can go a little heavier with it, but I wouldn't go too heavy. I never go too heavy with my glue. Now I want these bits out, so I'm actually going to twist it around. One, I like the look of these bigger webbing bits. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about, where it's got the bigger groupings. I prefer the look of that, and it means that where there isn't paper locking it down, you have more glue locking it down. So this is where I'm mostly going to be focusing on, is this part, because the other part will be underneath paper, it'll be wedged. So okay. If I need to go back through after and add a little bit, I will. Do I want to ink you? Yes, I do. Trying to get better about inking my pieces. Sometimes I remember and sometimes I just don't. I really want to be getting the edges of these because it's going in and out of a pocket. And I don't particularly want it lifting up. Oh no, not on my mat. So I'm going to line this up with the bottom. Oh, we barely have any of that showing through. Let me rip just a little bit more of... I ripped it the wrong way. That's okay. That's what ink is for. Okay. And now we have this random little smidge, which... that way around, that way around. I'm going to just put that in the middle of it. It's already got glue on it. and the middle of that had a blank spot, so I'm not too precious about what goes where, to be fair. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. If any of this is like lifting up by the time I'm done, I will just go in and add a little more glue to it. You and you. And then you're gonna come out. I'm actually gonna start it lower down on like the map, like that. Cool. This is just from my Native Wildlife of America, of North America. What's it called? North American Wildlife? North American Wildlife book. I think it's Reader's Digest. It might not be. I'll find it in a second. Okay. Reader's Digest book? It is Reader's Digest. North American Wildlife. It's when I got at the library, they were selling it. Our library does little book sales for things that people bring in but that they can't use as a library book for whatever reason. And it's when I grabbed for dirt cheap. If your library does that, it's a very good way to get books. Ours also has a freebie bin out front, which I do like to use, but sometimes it's just a lot of nonsense. Paperbacks and stuff, which I don't really go for. Okay. I'm going to want to stamp something here at some point. And then thinking I use maybe half of this sticker. If I can get it off the sticker. Didn't do too much, but it's a different tone, so it's fine. It sort of blends in because it's writing on writing, but oh well. I am not a perfectionist. Did I decide which was going on top of it? I think I wanted this guy, didn't I? So we've got to think about him being there. We need something here, but I might push it more to one side rather than being central because the bird is central. And I think I'll grab a postage stamp. Ooh. I mean, the purple doesn't go, but I kind of like that it doesn't go, so I'm going to use it. I don't know if it's just me, I like a pop on top of everything else. It's going more to the left. I have a lot of stuff going to the left, so I need to pull something to the right, but oh well. Okay. Let me ink this and ink this. So it's easy to do this with packaging. You just figure out the sizes that you need. I wanted to just use up that one piece of packaging. I didn't want to pull out another piece or some cardstock or anything. So I just tried to make it work with what I had. That's how I figured out my measurements. It depends on, obviously, the size of your projects. If you're doing a big book, you want bigger pieces. If you're doing small books, like A5 size books, you obviously want to make sure that the pieces of ephemera and stuff that you're putting in there will fit. I've measured mine against the book it's going in. I see this area here needs some extra glue, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. It needs a stamp here and something down here, but I think for now that's good. The back side I will distress. Oh, I didn't ink it. I find inking actually brings everything sort of together in the end. Where is my ink? hiding. Yeah. Once you get that edge nice and uniform, that's when it really all starts coming together, I think. It looks like one cohesive piece. Okay. Yeah, it definitely needs something stamped here. And maybe I'll put a little sentiment there. I'm not sure. But that's one. The back, I'm going to also grunge up with my dauber, and then I will also use my splatter stamps and stuff. I don't want it too dark because I do actually want to be able to write on the back of this. If I knew where I put my thing, that would be great. But I don't. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll go find that and figure out what I want on the next one. Okay, so I pulled out a stamp block. Where is that one? That's going to be in the bottom of my stampy container, isn't it? Yeah, it got stuck to something else. I pulled out field notes. I'm just gonna, I want to stamp this. This is what I'm going to use for the small one. So I want to stamp something on there, and I'm going to quickly stamp something on here at the same time. I think I'll use this one on the bird. I'm just using fallen leaves. I didn't want black. I don't want anything too harsh. And I think I'm going to second gen stamp it, which means I need a piece of paper. Because this is very juicy ink. So we do one, and then we take the second and just stamp it on there. It's nothing crazy. It's just a little something in the background. You. Now for this one, the problem is I also want to go for a round one. Just because of the curve. This. And this one I think I will allow it to be a stronger mark, so I might use the first gen. I'm going to use this one. My other round one. Same deal. And I'm not using a stamping block with this. Usually I would, but I'm not trying to get a perfect stamp. So that one can be centered. I'm going to do the same on the back, but I'm going to make sure that it's like partly off. Okay. Just going to ink around this. Trying to find ink. Yeah, I like this orange. I think actually this was supposed to go on that one, but oh well. Which do I prefer for the front? I think this one, because I might want to put a hole in the top, and that means that it's not getting in the way. Okay. So that's you. You. I wanted one of these over here. Is that too many circles now? I don't want this so white, so I'm trying to find just a couple of little pieces. I say that and then this is white, isn't it? But for how long is it white is the question. When I have my dauber on hand. That's better. You. Maybe a scrap of my old paper. That. Keep the 6. Yep, you're going on. I have no rhyme or reason, by the way, to how I'm doing this and what choices I'm making. I just grab and go. If something really doesn't feel right, I'll switch it out, but otherwise... Oh, this is crumbling apart in my fingers. I wonder if I can just stick some of it down. Just little bits of crackled paper, why not? Again, no rhyme or reason. Okay. They're all gone the same random direction, Liv, so maybe just smush that around a bit. There we go. So then butterfly in the middle and this guy. Yep. I'm not overthinking it today. I am not, even if I have paper stuck to my fingers. I have paper stuck to my fingers. Okay. This guy here. What's the back look? Fine apart from that. But I can cover that up later. This one does need a sentiment, but I don't know where my sentiments are right this second, so I'm going to hold off on that. I'll come back through at the end to put sentiments on. Okay. This side front. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to put holes in this, but if I do, I think it's going to look better like that. All right. It's a little bit off center, but that's fine. There's our second little guy. So I will be 2 seconds whilst I grab some more bits. Okay, so I sort of have a rough idea planned. I stamped on some of this paper. I have this little guy again, some strippy bits. I realised this one's going in the back pocket, which means it has much more wiggle space, especially if I leave a little bit of room at the top. Which means I can afford to do something a little thicker, like the tickets, like this die cut butterfly, which I inked up. So I think something like this. Oh, I have my circle that I forgot about. Maybe tuck that back behind. Hold on. Let me see if it'll stand out more if I ink it. Although I'm running out of ink. I decided I liked this side of the ticket more than this side. Although that does tie the red in. Oh, see, now I'm second guessing myself. That's 2 circles next to each other. I need a stamp or something behind, like on top of the circle. That might end up being too many things all in one go. It's a bit of a very white one. What are you? I like hang that half off that way. This here is not working for me. It's going too far into the background. I have the butterfly wing one, which does work because there's a butterfly. I don't need to fill it in with anything because it's not too far into the background. And something a little more like that. It's a bigger page, but I don't want to be using like 10 different tiny pieces. I thought I had some music paper on hand. I think that would work. Music paper, right? Oh, I have a little bit of ledger. I know I had some because I was going to use it on another part. But it's a matter of what did I put it under on my desk? Is the question. Over this way. Aha. Found you. So I'm going to take a little bit of this too. Don't need a lot, just a little bit of something. Get back there, thank you. Yeah, I kind of want the butterfly bridging the different parts. How do I like that? Do I like that? I think I can work with that, which is the most important part. I can always add more to it. I say this one can be built up a bit more than the others, solely because it's not going in one of the slot pockets. So you get to go on there. Go on there, but half off. Yeah, I'm gonna do the red. I really like this side, but I think that pop of orangey red is really gonna seal it all together. And I think that's important with a bigger piece, especially when not everything is touching. Yep. You know what I didn't do? I didn't ink any of that then. I'm trying to be gentle with it because this is very flimsy old paper. Okay. Sorry if I'm a little extra quiet today and if I'm cutting a lot more. Yeah, my brain's still kind of fried, but it's okay. Do down properly, yep. I'm not focusing on this top part because I'm not sure how big of an angle it's going to have yet. Okay, I'm going to ink up these other pieces and then I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so I ended up doing a little more off camera because I'm trying to be more conscious about the time. So I added some Musician card in the background. I found the ship I was looking for earlier and added that on and stuck you on, and then just folded over a piece of this. You will see it on the other side because the other side is going to be for writing on, but I think it's kind of cool. So what I need to do now is I'm going to cut one corner and then flip it and cut the other. The others have the tabs, so they don't need to be made into a tag. And I'm just gonna randomly do it. You know what I want, so then I'm gonna flip it. And copy that onto this side. I'm not very good at doing this, so it might not be perfect, but it will work. Okay, so there we go. It's now got a tag. I want to put a hole in the middle. So I'm going to do my crocodile on the bigger setting because I'm going to use one of my bigger eyelets. Put that there. And then I need to go find my eyelets. That was the one thing I forgot to grab, so I will be right back. Okay, so I have the eyelet in place. I don't have it locked yet. I'm going to actually add this fun arrow hole reinforcer just on the back half of it, because the back side never looks as good, and this is supposed to be used on both sides. So I'm going to just place that in relatively straight down. And then I'm just going to clamp this down. Okay. As you can see, it just sort of neatens up the back a bit. I'm going to give that just a second squeeze because I didn't do it properly. But okay. So that's how it's looking. I'm going to go around and, well, I'm going to do this first. I'm going to go around and ink it up. And then we'll see how they look in their gaps. I might find the page that we want it in today, because we're not really going to have to do much decorating on the page. Oh, and what was I doing? Where is... How did I lose that? I was just using... Oh, it's right in front of your face, Libby. It's because it's all clear. It's clear on clear on clear. That makes it harder for me. And we're just going to go in and just add some grungy bits to the back. And I am going to go through and ink the back, like the edges. I kind of like all this black speckling on there now. What I usually do on the backs of my cards that are for journaling is I will add just a sticker or a little focal point in the corner, so maybe we can just use... I have so many Austrian ones. This Austrian stamp, perhaps, just in like the bottom corner. It just, to me, it means when you look at it, you go, oh, okay, so this isn't supposed to be stuck down. You know, this is supposed to go in somewhere, because there's decoration on the back. So that's just more for me. But we'll do it with a stamp today. Because I'm trying not to use... I mean, that's a die cut and that's a die cut. But outside of those, everything else is like real source stuff. You need a little something, but that is going to be too much. So we'll add just a baby die cut. Will do. Turn into a very butterfly heavy page, this. Well, animal heavy, I guess, because we've got the butterflies and then we've got the squirrel on the actual thing. But where's my other one? Oh, he's standing up. Oh yeah, and this one has a bird. Do I have a bird? Mini die cut. I might. It's a flower. Got mushrooms. Dragonflies. Flowers could work. This started out as a purely Tim Holtz little tub, whatever. And since then, it's now just become a gathering place for any of my smaller die cuts. I don't know why I thought there was a bird in here, but I'm not seeing one. So I think I will go with some flowers. Okay, pink it up. I say this is just an indicator to me. I don't know if it works for anybody else. That, oh yeah, so this side is supposed to be decorated or written on or used, you know. Cool. All right. So first and foremost, let's have a little look-see. So we've got this guy here, which will go in. Which will go in. Oh, please go in. This is what I was worried about. It's gotten a bit thick. I'm hoping it will, when it's on the page, it will go in and out. We've got this guy here, and then this guy in the back. Oh, now the moment of truth, because if it doesn't work, then, well, then at least I have 2 tags that we can use for something else, and I'll have to make thinner ones to go in here. But, you know, with any luck. Okay, so I need a sturdy page. I'm thinking one of these pages, because it's the thicker paper that's in there. Let's have a look. You know what I said I was going to do? I was going to round those corners, but I'm not. Unless it becomes a real pain in a second. So I'm going to do it down to the bottom and more to the right hand side than the left. Just because it puts less strain on the spine. Try that again. I suppose what I could have done is when I put this on, have found a way to lift it a little bit. Can I still do that? I can still do that. Is that going to be crazy? Just so that this is raised and it will make it easier for these to slide in. I'll be right back. I'm going to find some cardboard. Okay, so what I found is some, I ran up the Tim Holtz packaging. I'm going to cut just a strip off each side because it's roughly the right height, and then just a little extra bit for the bottom, and I'm going to raise it. So I'll be right back. I was just letting you know what I was doing, what the plan was. Okay, so I put some glue on this first piece. I'm just gluing it up onto the edge. It's not a huge difference, but I'm hoping it'll be enough of a difference. You know, that it'll make it a bit easier. You know how people layer up hole reinforcers when they're trying to do policy closures? That kind of thing. So just a little bit extra lift. Do I need to trim you down? I do. And yeah, and then we'll try this again. I just had a gut feeling as I was going. I was like, is there any way that I can lift this? Because I don't want to lose adding the, you know, the tags and stuff that we just made. Okay. So if you can see, we've got a strip here, and a strip there. And then I'm just going to add the glue to those spots. Which does mean there's little holes in the corners, but given what we're putting in there, that's not going to matter at all. Okay. Let's try that again, Lib. Again, I'm still doing it over to the right-hand side of the page. think this heat has killed my art glitter glue, because it's not sticking anywhere near as quickly as it usually would, but it is sticking. So I'm wondering if that lift has helped. Yes, you can see it will go in and out. It's not the easiest, but it will. And you know what? Right now, I'll take that. Oh no, go back down. The problem is, if you want me to be honest, is the piece of packaging that I used to make the initial frame. This is very thick, which means when you're putting the paper through here, there's a thickness that it has to get through. But that is cool. Come on, glue yourself down. I'm gonna add more glue, specifically to this side, but that's how it turned out. I love it. And then you've got obviously 1, 2, it all came off. 3. I shouldn't be messing around with that until the glue's set, which it wasn't. But you can see how it's going to end up, and next video, this will be set and done, and, you know, it won't come up when I put things in. If I'd have thought about it ahead of time, I would have actually made this for the inside pocket, like the back covers of the journal, because then it's got a sturdier base. It's not going to twist. But it's okay. I didn't have that piece of packaging when we put the book together. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this overnight, clamped, and probably weighed down on this part. And then tomorrow I can come back to it and just check that everything's okay. I'm pretty sure it will be at this point. Yeah, I'm going to put something heavy on this side. But yeah, apart from the fact that my demonstration failed at the end there, I'm really happy with how this turned out and how the pieces turned out. And if for whatever reason this just is a royal fail, I will save the group of this and I will use it in another journal on this back cover where it's firm. The problem with this is because it's firm, but it's not firm. It has give to it, so it's like lifting, if that makes sense. Which I should have thought about. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I have a lot of will right now to get that done. So I'm just going to set that aside. And I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me. So this is what we did today. We did our 3 tags. Again, out of 1 piece of packaging. And I'm very happy with it. So thank you guys very much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and a good night. Bye.